things, about the world, about other people, about myself. Some beliefs were given to me. Others I clung to because I needed them to be true. But in your 50s, something shifts, not all at once. There's no loud breaking point, just a slow, steady unraveling. And what's left is truth. Not pretty truth, not polite truth, but the kind that frees you. I used to believe that being nice made me a good person, that if I kept the peace, softened my voice, smiled through discomfort, I was doing the right thing. But niceness often asks you to betray yourself quietly, to swallow truth in the name of harmony, to disappear politely. Kindness, on the other hand, is different. It's grounded in truth, not approval. It has a spine. It doesn't always sound sweet, but it always honors dignity, yours and theirs. I no longer believe that being agreeable is the same as being good. Sometimes kindness will disappoint people. Niceness just keeps them comfortable. You learn that being pleasant is not a virtue, that niceness often appears to mask fear or uncertainty, and that kindness sets boundaries that niceness would never dare. Because kindness doesn't need to be liked, it just needs to be true. I used to believe in a vending machine version of faith. Pray hard enough, do good, follow the rules, and life would reward you. But midlife humbles you. People you love still get sick. Plans still fall apart. Prayers go unanswered, not because you didn't believe hard enough or fast long enough, but because prayer isn't transactional, and neither is life. You realize that not everything you pray for will come to fruition, no matter how badly you want it or will it. And constant disappointments don't deepen faith. They complicate it, numb it, or leave it suspended in ambiguity. And slowly, you stop expecting prayer to work like a lever you pull for comfort or rescue. You stop needing every loss to have a lesson. You see things for what they are, and you realize sometimes things don't fall into place. They just fall. And there isn't always a lesson waiting at the bottom. Not every fall leads to a rise. Some things just break and stay broken. Some endings don't teach, they just are. And learning to live with that is its own kind of wisdom. I used to believe that age and wisdom walked hand in hand, that the older someone was, the more they had to teach. But now I know. Age just makes you more of what you already are. If you were reflective, you may grow deeper. If you avoided growth, you may become more rigid, more certain, more small. Some people collect years without ever collecting insight. They confuse experience with wisdom, but surviving something isn't the same as learning from it. I've seen cruelty defended as tradition, closed-mindedness mistaken for conviction, pride passed off as authority. Wisdom doesn't just arrive with time. It's carved by humility, by loss, by the willingness to admit you might have been wrong, even after decades of being sure. I no longer confuse seniority with substance, and I no longer hand over my reverence just because someone's older. Wisdom comes from self-examination, from humility, not candles on a cake. I used to believe that love had to be earned through sacrifice, silence, staying. Somewhere along the way, I started confusing being needed with being loved. I thought if I could just carry more, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they'd finally understand what I was worth. I stayed in rooms that dimmed me, in roles that drained me. I wore patience like armor and called it strength. I thought endurance made me worthy, that suffering was proof of love. But midlife teaches you the cost of that kind of math, the hollowing out, the quiet bitterness, the years you can't get back. There's no medal for quiet endurance, no reward for disappearing gracefully. Suffering isn't currency. It doesn't purchase closeness. It doesn't guarantee devotion. It just leaves you tired, depleted, and wondering why love always feels like labor. This one's hard because we were raised to believe in a kind of moral math. Do good, be good, and good things will follow. That fairness was inevitable. That effort would be recognized. That goodness would circle back. But midlife forces you to see what you didn't want to admit. The ground doesn't always rise to meet you when you stumble. Sometimes it barely notices. And sometimes you can do everything right. Speak gently, love deeply, show up fully, and still not be met with goodness, understanding, or mercy. Because goodness, being good, doesn't guarantee grace. Not from people, not from institutions, not even always from life itself. Goodness isn't just one thing. It wears many faces. Sometimes goodness is moral principle. In many traditions, goodness is tied to universal values: compassion, justice, honesty, protecting the vulnerable. These are often seen as objective truths, but even then, how we live them out varies. Is it good to tell the truth even if it hurts? Or is it good to protect someone's feelings by withholding it? That's where subjectivity enters. Sometimes goodness is social behavior. What's good in one culture or family might be seen as disrespectful or weak in another. Helping a stranger may be seen as virtuous or naive. Obedience might be praised in one household, while questioning authority is praised in another. Goodness is shaped by time, place, and power. And sometimes goodness is intention. This is where midlife pulls the thread. You begin to ask, am I being good or just being agreeable? Is this kindness or fear of being disliked? Over time, goodness becomes less about external approval and more about internal alignment. Less about virtue signaling and more about self-honoring. I've learned that goodness isn't a transaction. It's a posture, a way of living with myself, even when the world isn't watching, even when it doesn't clap. I don't let how I show up in the world or how I treat others be determined by the possibility of being seen or rewarded. I do it because it aligns with who I want to be, because I still want to recognize myself at the end of the day. Midlife has a way of undoing the neat stories we were told about goodness, fairness, love, and success. It strips things down. It makes you look at what you used to believe and decide what still fits. Not everything does, and that's not failure, that's growth. Letting go of old beliefs isn't about becoming jaded. It's about becoming more honest, more whole, more free. If something in this video spoke to you, if it reminded you of a quiet truth you've been holding or helped you name something you couldn't say out loud, then you're in the right place. This space is for women who are shedding what no longer fits and standing in what's finally true. I hope you'll subscribe, stay a while, and come back each week as we keep exploring what it means to live with more clarity, more courage, and more self-respect in this next chapter. Until next time, be gentle with what you're unlearning and fierce about what you're becoming.